I found my wife's affair burner phone, hidden in her car. When I checked the messages, I discovered she'd been meeting her lover every Thursday for 6 months. Except her lover was my best friend's wife, and they were planning to destroy both our marriages. I found the phone on a Tuesday, a cheap Android burner wedged under the passenger seat of my wife's car. Within an hour of finding it, I discovered Lauren was having an affair. Within 2 hours, I discovered her affair partner was my best friend's wife. Within 3 hours, I discovered something far worse than infidelity, a conspiracy that made my blood run cold. Hey Reddit, this is the story of how I thought I was uncovering my wife's affair, only to stumble onto evidence of a calculated, premeditated plan to financially destroy me and my best friend. I'm Daniel, 34 years old, and what I'm about to tell you will make you question whether you actually know the person sleeping next to you every night. You know that moment when you find something you weren't supposed to find? When the entire foundation of your reality shifts because of a single discovery. That's where this story goes. But let me start from the beginning, because to understand how completely Lauren and Amanda deceived us, you need to understand what our lives looked like before I found that phone. I met Lauren 8 years ago when I was 26 and she was 24. I was a junior architect at a firm in Seattle, making about $68,000 a year. Lauren was working in marketing for a tech startup, making around $55,000. We met through a mutual friend's dinner party, connected immediately over shared interests in hiking and design, started dating within weeks. Lauren was smart, ambitious, beautiful. She had this energy about her, confident, driven, always thinking 3 steps ahead in her career. I found that attractive. She wasn't waiting for life to happen to her. She was actively building the life she wanted. We dated for a year before moving in together. Another year after that I proposed. Simple proposal on a hiking trail at Mount Rainier, just the 2 of us in the mountains. She said yes. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, 80 guests, nothing extravagant. We were both focused on building our careers and saving money. The first few years of marriage were good. We were both climbing in our respective fields. I made senior architect, she made marketing manager. Combined, we were bringing in about $130,000, living comfortably in a nice apartment, saving for a house. 5 years into marriage, we bought our house. 3-bedroom in a good Seattle neighborhood, $650,000. Put down 20%, $130,000 we'd saved together over 5 years. Manageable mortgage. By then, I was making $95,000 as a project architect, and Lauren was making $72,000 as a senior marketing manager. 2 years ago, I made principal architect. Salary jumped to $112,000. Lauren was promoted to marketing director around the same time. Salary up to $85,000. Combined income of $197,000. We were financially comfortable, had equity in our house, were contributing to retirement accounts, took nice vacations. From the outside, and honestly, from the inside too, we seemed like the model of a successful modern marriage. My best friend Kevin and his wife Amanda seemed to be in a similar place. Kevin was a software engineering manager making around $145,000. Amanda worked in pharmaceutical sales making about $95,000. They'd been married for 6 years, bought their house around the same time we did. Similar lifestyle and values. Kevin and I had been best friends since college. We'd been in each other's weddings, spent holidays together, took couples trips together. Our wives got along well. Not best friends, but friendly enough. We'd do dinners together monthly, occasional weekend trips, the normal stuff close couples do. Everything seemed fine, normal, happy even. Lauren and I had our occasional arguments. What couple doesn't? But nothing major. Sex life was decent. We communicated reasonably well, made decisions together. I had no reason to suspect anything was wrong until about 7 months ago, when I started noticing changes in Lauren's behavior. It started with late nights at work. Lauren would text me on Thursday evenings. Have to stay late, big project deadline. Don't wait up, home by 10. Initially, I didn't think much of it. Lauren had always been dedicated to her work. Late nights happened occasionally. But then it became every Thursday, like clockwork. For weeks. Another late Thursday? I'd ask Wednesday evening. Yeah, this campaign we're launching is intense. Thursdays are when the team does our final review sessions. They run long. Every week? Until this project wraps. Probably another month or so. But a month became 2 months. Then 3. Every single Thursday, Lauren would leave for work at her normal time, 7:30 a.m., but wouldn't come home until 9:30 or 10 p.m. 14-hour workdays, but only on Thursdays. Every other day, she'd be home by 6:30. I asked her about it. Why only Thursdays? What's special about Thursday team meetings? That's when everyone's available. The campaign manager, the design team, the analytics people. We all have different schedules, but Thursday evenings work for everyone. It seemed plausible. Corporate meeting culture is weird, but something felt off. Lauren would come home from these long Thursdays not exhausted, but energized, almost happy. She'd be in a good mood, chatty, affectionate even. Not the mood of someone who'd just worked a 14-hour day. 4 months ago, I noticed other things. Lauren started dressing better on Thursdays. Not office attire, which she wore Monday through Friday, but specific attention to Thursday outfits. Better makeup, nicer jewelry, new perfume she'd only wear on Thursdays. You look nice, I'd say Thursday mornings. Thanks. I have that presentation today, want to look professional. But every Thursday, every single week, she had a presentation important enough to warrant extra effort in her appearance. 3 months ago, I suggested surprising her at work with dinner. You're working so late on Thursdays. What if I brought you takeout from that Thai place you love? We could eat together during a break. Her reaction was immediate and negative. No, I mean that's sweet, but no. The team meetings are intense. We can't have interruptions. It would throw off the whole flow. I'd just drop it off. Stay 5 minutes. Daniel, I said no. Please respect my workspace boundaries. That was the first time I felt real suspicion. The defensiveness. The almost panicked tone when I suggested showing up unannounced. 2 months ago, Lauren started being secretive about her phone. She'd always been casual about it. Left it on the counter. Didn't care if I saw her screen. Sometimes asked me to check her messages when she was driving. But suddenly, the phone was always face down. Always with her. Even in the bathroom. Password protected with facial recognition, she'd angle away from me. Why'd you change your phone settings? I asked. What do you mean? You have facial recognition now. Used to just be your thumbprint. Oh, work suggested it for security. We handle sensitive client data. Again, plausible. But combined with everything else, it felt like another piece of a puzzle I couldn't quite see. 6 weeks ago, Lauren started going to the gym more. Not a bad thing. I was glad she was prioritizing fitness. But it was always Tuesday and Saturday mornings, and she'd come back glowing, energized, in a great mood. The same energy she had after Thursday, work night. Gym makes me feel amazing, she'd say when I'd comment on her good mood. I should have started this routine years ago. 1 month ago, I came home early from work on a Wednesday. Project meeting got canceled, and Lauren was on the phone in our bedroom. I heard her laughing, voice low and intimate. When I walked in, she immediately said, "Got to go, talk later," and hung up. Who was that? Just a work colleague. We were discussing the campaign. Sounded more personal than work talk. Can I not have friends? Not everything is suspicious, Daniel. You're being paranoid. Paranoid. That word stung. Was I paranoid? Or was I noticing legitimate warning signs? 2 weeks ago, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked our cell phone bill online. Looked at Lauren's call and text logs. There were dozens of calls to one number I didn't recognize. All at odd hours. Lunch breaks, evenings, weekends. Hundreds of text messages to the same number. I Googled the number. Nothing came up. Probably a cell phone not listed publicly. I thought about calling it to see who answered, but chickened out. What would I say? Hi, are you having an affair with my wife? Last week, Lauren mentioned casually that she was meeting a girlfriend from work for drinks after work on Thursday. So I'll be even later than usual. Probably 10:30 or 11. I thought you had team meetings Thursday nights? Meeting wraps by 8, then we're going for drinks to decompress. The story was changing, evolving, and I didn't believe it anymore, which brings me to yesterday, Tuesday, the day I found the phone. Lauren's car was making a weird noise. She'd mentioned it Monday evening. Something's rattling in the front passenger area. Can you check it out? Sure, I'll look at it tomorrow. Tuesday morning, after Lauren left for work, I went to her car in the driveway, opened the passenger door, checked the glove compartment, registration and insurance, nothing unusual. Checked under the seat for maybe a water bottle rolling around causing the rattle. My hand touched something hard and rectangular wedged way under the seat. I pulled it out, a phone, but not Lauren's iPhone 13 Pro with the rose gold case I'd bought her for her birthday. This was a cheap Android, maybe $50 at a drugstore. Basic black case, no personalization. My stomach dropped. I knew immediately what this was. A burner phone, the kind people use when they don't want their activity traced to their main phone. I sat in the passenger seat, holding this phone, feeling my heart race. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe she used it for work, some security protocol I didn't know about. Maybe I pressed the power button. The phone woke up. No lock screen, no password. It opened right to the home screen. One app was open. Messages. I clicked it. The conversation was between two people. L and A. L, Lauren. Who? I scrolled to the top. Messages going back 6 months. I started reading. 6 months ago. A. Can't wait for Thursday. I've been thinking about you all week, L. Me too. 7 at the usual place. A. Perfect. I'll be counting the hours. My hands were shaking. This read like affair messages. Clear, explicit interest. Plans to meet. The usual place. 5 months ago. Last Thursday was incredible. I can't stop thinking about it. A. Same. You're amazing. I hate that we have to hide this. L. I know. But what choice do we have? They wouldn't understand. A. When this is all over, we won't have to hide anymore. L. I can't wait for that day. I felt sick. Actually nauseous. My wife was having an affair, planning secret meetups, talking about a future where they didn't have to hide. When this is all over, when what was over? Our marriage? I kept reading, message after message, declarations of affection, plans for Thursday meetups, discussions about being careful and not getting caught. 4 months ago, A. Almost got caught last Thursday. He asked me why I was so happy when I got home. L. What did you say? A. That I'd had a good day at work. He seemed to buy it. L. We need to be more careful. Can't have them getting suspicious. A. I know, but it's so hard to hide how I feel after seeing you. He. Them. Multiple people they were hiding from. Who was A hiding from? Her husband? A boyfriend? And who was this woman making my wife so happy that she couldn't hide it? 3 months ago, well, I feel guilty sometimes. Lying to him. He's a good guy. He doesn't deserve this. A. I know. Mine too. But what we have is worth it. It'll all be worth it in the end. L. You really think the plan will work? A. If we stick to the timeline, absolutely. Everything's set up perfectly. The plan. What plan? My mind was racing. This wasn't just an affair. There was some kind of plan. A timeline. Something set up perfectly. 2 months ago. A. Met with the attorney again yesterday. She says we're on track. L. Same here. Mine says 6 more months of documentation and we'll be ready. A. It's going to be expensive up front but worth it in the long run. L. Agreed. And they'll never see it coming. Too trusting. Attorney. Documentation. They'll never see it coming. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just an affair. This was something planned. Legal. Financial. 1 month ago. L. Sometimes I feel bad about what we're doing. Is this really the right way? A. Don't go soft on me now. We've come too far. Remember why we started this, L. I remember. You're right. No backing out now. That's my girl. Thursday can't come soon enough, L. Same. Love you, A. Love you too. Love you. My wife was telling another woman she loved her. Having an affair with a woman. Planning something with attorneys. Documenting things. Preparing for something I would never see coming because I was too trusting. I scrolled further. Found photos. Not many, but a few. Selfies of Lauren with... I squinted at the screen. The woman in the photo looked familiar. Dark hair, pretty, probably early 30s. Where had I seen her? Then it hit me like a physical blow. Amanda. Kevin's wife. The woman in the photos with Lauren was Amanda. My best friend Kevin's wife. I stared at the photo. Lauren and Amanda smiling at the camera. Close together. Clearly comfortable with each other. The caption, after another perfect Thursday, my wife was having an affair with my best friend's wife. I sat in that car for what felt like hours, but was probably 20 minutes, reading through 6 months of messages between Lauren and Amanda. Love declarations, plans to meet every Thursday, discussions about being careful around them, Kevin and me presumably, and repeatedly mentions of the plan, the attorney, the timeline, documentation, and things being set up perfect. This wasn't just an affair. This was a conspiracy. But a conspiracy to do what? I scrolled back to recent messages. Found one from just 3 days ago. A. Thursday meeting with your attorney still on? L. Yes, 7U. She's going to review all the documentation I've collected so far. A. Good. Mine is doing the same. She says we're in good shape for phase 2. L. When do we initiate? A. She says another 2-3 months. We need more evidence of separate finances, more documentation of them being emotionally unavailable, and focused on work over marriage. L. I've been documenting everything. His late nights at the office, times he's been too tired for intimacy, every instance where he chose work over me. Perfect. Same here. We need to build the narrative of emotional neglect. L. It feels manipulative. A. It's strategic. Remember what they have. Remember what we deserve. We're not doing anything wrong, just protecting our futures. L. You're right. Thursday at 7? A. Wouldn't miss it. Love you. L. Love you too. I read that exchange 3 times, then a 4th. Each time, the pieces came together more. Lauren and Amanda weren't just having an affair. They were meeting with attorneys, collecting documentation, building a narrative, preparing for phase 2 of some plan. A plan that involved what we deserve based on what they have. Kevin and I. We were the they, and what we have was money. Asset. Kevin made $145,000. I made $112,000. Combined, our wives were looking at access to nearly $260,000 in annual income, plus home equity, retirement accounts, investments. This wasn't an affair. This was a financial conspiracy disguised as an affair. I kept scrolling, found older messages that confirmed my suspicion. 7 months ago. A. So we're really doing this? L. I think we should. We've been planning for 2 years. Everything's aligned. A. The attorneys are expensive. $15,000 each up front. L. But they're the best. Specialize in high-asset divorces. They know how to maximize settlements. A. And you're sure Daniel won't suspect? L. He's too trusting, too focused on work. We've been married 7 years, and he still doesn't know I knew you in college. A. Same with Kevin. They have no idea we've been friends since freshman year. L. Which gives us the advantage. They'll never see this coming. 2 years. They'd been planning this for 2 years. Lauren and Amanda had been friends since college, something neither Kevin nor I knew. They'd orchestrated their marriages to us, targeted us because we were financially successful. And now they were preparing for synchronized divorces designed to extract maximum financial value. The affair wasn't real. The Thursday nights weren't romantic meetups. They were attorney consultations and strategy sessions. The love messages were cover, something they could point to if we ever found the messages. See, we were having an affair. We fell in love. It just happened, but it hadn't just happened. None of it had just happened. Everything was calculated. I found more messages. 6 months ago, consultation went well. Attorney says if we document emotional neglect and maintain separate finances for the next 6 to 8 months, we can argue for 60-65% of marital assets in the divorce. Same here. Plus spousal support for 3 to 5 years while we train or recover emotionally. We need to be careful about the affair narrative though. Can't let them find out too early. Right. The attorney said wait until we're ready to file. Then, discover the affair mutually. Get restraining orders, freeze assets before they can move anything. God, this is so calculated. Sometimes I wonder if we're doing the right thing. Lauren, think of 7 years you've been married to Daniel. What do you have to show for it? Half of a house? Joint retirement accounts? You deserve more. We both do. We've spent our 20s building these men up, supporting their careers, playing the good wives. It's our turn to benefit. You're right. I deserve this. We deserve this, exactly. And the beauty is, they'll never even know how we did it. They'll think it's just a messy divorce with an affair involved. By the time they realize, we'll have settlements locked in. I read that exchange 5 times. Each time I felt colder, more nauseous, more betrayed. Lauren had married me as a long-term investment. Spent 7 years playing the role of loving wife, while secretly plotting with Amanda to extract maximum value through divorce. They'd targeted Kevin and me because we were successful, trusting, and apparently clueless. Every I love you Lauren had said over 7 years, had any of them been real? Or was I just a mark in a long con? I sat in that car, holding the burner phone with 6 months of evidence of a conspiracy to defraud me and my best friend, and I faced a choice. Confront Lauren immediately, or investigate further. If I confronted her now, she'd deny it. Claim I misunderstood. Say the messages were taken out of context. She'd lawyer up immediately. She already had one, apparently, and the plan would shift. Phase 2 would accelerate or change, but if I investigated quietly, if I gathered more evidence, if I understood the full scope of what Lauren and Amanda were planning, I could stop them. I could protect Kevin. I could turn this around. I took the burner phone inside, connected it to my laptop, and backed up every message, every photo, every piece of evidence. Saved everything to an encrypted drive. Then I put the phone back exactly where I'd found it, wedged under the passenger seat of Lauren's car. When Lauren came home that evening, I acted completely normal. How was work? I asked. Busy. How was yours? Good. Fixed that rattle in your car, by the way. Loose vent cover. Oh, thank you. That was annoying me. She kissed me, smiled, asked what I wanted for dinner, played the role of loving wife perfectly. And I played the role of oblivious husband perfectly right back, because now I knew. I knew everything. Lauren wasn't having an affair. She was executing a 2-year plan to financially destroy me. And my best friend's wife was doing the same to him. The question wasn't whether to stop them. The question was how. And I had until phase 2 in 2 to 3 months to figure it out. That night, I lay in bed next to Lauren, watching her sleep, and wondered if I'd ever really known her at all. 7 years of marriage, 7 years of I love you, and shared meals and vacations and conversations about our future. Had any of it been real? Or had I been living with a stranger who was playing a role while calculating exactly how to extract maximum value from my life? I didn't sleep. Couldn't. My mind was racing through everything I'd read on that burner phone. Every message. Every mention of the plan, and phase 2, and attorneys, and documentation. Lauren had been meeting with a divorce attorney every Thursday for 6 months, building a case against me while I worked late, and trusted her completely. Too trusting, they'd written. That's what made Kevin and me perfect marks. We trusted our wives, never suspected, never questioned. That ended today. Wednesday morning, I got up before Lauren, went to my home office, and started planning. First step, I needed to tell Kevin, but not over the phone. This conversation needed to happen in person, somewhere private, where we couldn't be overheard or recorded. I texted Kevin, "Need to talk to you about something important. Can you meet me for lunch? Away from our offices." He responded within minutes. "Sure, everything okay?" Not over text. 12:30 at that brewery on 5th? See you there. At 12:30, I walked into the brewery and found Kevin already at a corner table, looking concerned. "What's going on? You sounded serious." I sat down, pulled out my phone, showed him a photo I'd taken of the burner phone's screen, one of the message exchanges between Lauren and Amanda. "I need you to read this. All of it. Don't react until you've read everything. Kevin took my phone, started reading. I watched his face change as he scrolled. Confusion, then disbelief, then anger, then something that looked like devastation. What the fuck is this? He whispered. I found a burner phone in Lauren's car yesterday. 6 months of messages between her and Amanda. They're not having an affair. They're conspiring to divorce us. They've been planning it for 2 years. Meeting with attorneys. Documenting everything to build cases for emotional neglect. Preparing to file simultaneously. Get restraining orders. Freeze our assets before we can protect ourselves. Kevin was still staring at my phone, scrolling through the screenshots I'd taken. Amanda's been, this whole time, they've known each other since college. They targeted us specifically because we're financially successful. This entire thing, both marriages, was a long con. That can't be true. Amanda and I have been married 6 years. We've a life together. This has to be some kind of misunderstanding. Kevin, read the messages. They talk explicitly about their attorneys, about maximizing divorce settlements, about us being too trusting to see it coming. There's no misunderstanding. He kept reading. I could see him trying to process, trying to find an alternative explanation that didn't involve his wife of 6 years having married him as a financial strategy. Finally, he looked up at me. What do? We fight back, but smart, not emotional. They've been planning this for 2 years with legal help. We need legal help too. And we need to gather more evidence before they realize we know. How do we gather evidence without them knowing? I have the burner phone. I can keep checking it, see what they're planning. But we also need to understand what they've already done. What documentation they've collected. What their attorneys are advising. We need our own attorneys. Good ones who specialize in cases like this. Kevin was quiet for a moment. Conspiracy to commit fraud. That's what this is, right? They married us under false pretenses with the intent to defraud us financially. I think so, but I'm not a lawyer. We need people who know how to handle this. I know someone. Guy I went to college with. Practices family law in Seattle. Handles high-asset divorces. He'll know what to do. Call him. Today. Tell him everything. I'll do the same. Find my own attorney so there's no conflict of interest. We meet with them separately, get advice, then coordinate strategy. Kevin nodded, still looking shell-shocked. I can't believe Amanda would. We were talking about having kids next year. She seemed so excited about it. Was that all fake too? I don't know. Maybe some of it was real. Or maybe they're just really good actresses who've been playing roles for years. God, Daniel. How do we even go home and act normal after this? We have to. If they suspect we know, they'll accelerate their timeline. We need them to think everything's fine while we prepare. Can you do that? I don't know, but I'll try. That afternoon, I called the attorney Kevin recommended, Marcus Chen, a family law specialist who'd handled several high-profile divorce cases. I explained the situation, sent him encrypted files with screenshots of the burner phone messages. This is extraordinary, Marcus said when we met the next day in his office. I've seen prenuptial fraud cases. I've seen people who married for green cards or to access family money, but a coordinated conspiracy between 2 women to target 2 men simultaneously. This is unprecedented. What can we do? Several things. First, we need to preserve evidence. You have the burner phone messages. That's good. But we need more. We need to know what documentation they've collected, what narrative they're building, what their attorneys are advising. How do we get that without them knowing? Carefully. Does Lauren use a computer at home? Yes. Laptop for work. If you can access it legally, meaning you have permission or joint ownership, we can potentially recover documents, emails, anything she's saved related to the divorce planning. We share the laptop. Both use it for personal stuff. Good. Then legally, you have access. I can refer you to a forensic IT specialist who can image the hard drive, recover deleted files, find anything she's been working on. What about protecting my assets? They're planning to freeze everything before I can react. We need to be very careful here. If you move assets now, they can claim you're hiding marital property in anticipation of divorce. But what we can do is document everything. Create an inventory of all marital assets, all accounts, all property. Make sure nothing goes missing that you don't know about. And we can set up individual accounts for your new income moving forward. Salary that comes in after we know about the conspiracy can be protected. What's the end game? How does this end? Marcus leaned back in his chair. Best case? You gather enough evidence to prove conspiracy to commit fraud. When they file for divorce, we present that evidence. The court sees they entered the marriage with fraudulent intent. They get nothing. No alimony, minimal asset division, possibly even criminal charges for fraud and conspiracy. You get to keep what's yours and move on with your life. And worst case? Worst case? They file first, you can't prove intent, and it becomes a messy he said she said divorce where you lose half your assets anyway. That's why gathering evidence is crucial. We need ironclad proof that this was premeditated. Over the next 3 weeks, Kevin and I became investigators in our own lives. I hired the forensic IT specialist Marcus recommended, a woman named Sarah who'd worked with law enforcement on digital crimes. She came to the house one Sunday when Lauren was at the gym, imaged our shared laptop's hard drive in 45 minutes, and left with everything Lauren had ever created, deleted, or received on that computer. The results were damning. Sarah recovered a Word document titled Divorce Strategy, detailing how Lauren planned to document emotional neglect, separate finances, and build a case for maximum asset division. Email exchanges with her attorney, using her personal email account, discussing strategy, timeline, and expected settlement amounts. A spreadsheet listing all our marital assets: the house, my 401k, my investment accounts, joint savings, with calculations for what 60% would be. Notes from her Thursday meetings with her attorney, including advice like, document every time he chooses work over you, and keep detailed records of separate financial decisions. And most damning, an email to Amanda from 8 months ago with the subject line, Phase 1 complete, listing everything they'd accomplished in setting up their marriages for maximum extraction. Kevin's IT specialist found similar evidence on Amanda's computer. Together, we had overwhelming proof that both marriages were conspiracies, but Marcus advised patience. Don't confront them yet. Let them think their plan is working. The more evidence they generate believing they're safe, the stronger your case becomes. So I went home every night and played the oblivious husband. Lauren would come home from her late Thursdays, and I'd ask how work was. She'd smile and say busy, and I'd smile back and offer to make dinner. We'd eat together, watch TV, go to bed. She'd tell me she loved me, and I'd say it back, and every word felt like ash in my mouth, but I played the role. Because Marcus was right. The more they documented, the more meetings they had, the more explicit their plan became, the better our case got. 6 weeks after finding the burner phone, I checked it again. Lauren never noticed it was occasionally missing for a few hours. Found a new message exchange. A. Attorney says we're ready for Phase 2. All documentation in place. Timeline set for 6 weeks from now. L. Same here. Nervous but excited. This has really happened. 6 weeks until filing. Then restraining orders same day. They'll be out of their houses before they know what hit them. L. My attorney says with the emotional neglect documentation, I should get 65% plus 3 years spousal support. A. Mine says similar. We're going to be fine. Better than fine. We're going to be free and financially secure. L. Worth every minute of playing the dutiful wife. A. Agreed. 6 more weeks of acting, then it's over. 6 weeks. I took screenshots. Sent them to Marcus immediately. He called me within an hour. They're moving faster than we thought. We need to act now. Here's what we're going to do. The next 2 weeks were a blur of preparation. Marcus and Kevin's attorney coordinated strategy. They filed a motion with the court to preemptively address fraud in marriage. Prepared massive evidence packets. Scheduled an emergency hearing for the day before Lauren and Amanda planned to file their divorces and restraining orders. Kevin and I prepared too. We moved funds that were legally ours into protected accounts, not hiding assets, but ensuring they couldn't be frozen without proper court order. We documented our own versions of events. We prepared for the worst-case scenario where we'd have to leave our houses and start over, and we waited. The night before Lauren planned to file, I knew because I'd seen the calendar reminder on her phone. Labeled Attorney 9 a.m., I couldn't sleep. Tomorrow, everything would come to light. Tomorrow, Lauren would wake up planning to destroy my life, but would walk into a courtroom where I had already presented evidence of her conspiracy. Marcus had explained the strategy. We file first thing in the morning. Emergency motion based on fraud. The judge sees the evidence. The burner phone messages, the recovered documents, the emails, everything. We request restraining orders against them from accessing marital accounts. We request the divorce proceed with minimal asset division due to fraudulent intent. They show up at their attorney's offices 9 a.m. expecting to file, but by then we've already acted. Friday morning. I got up, got dressed. Lauren was still sleeping. She'd taken the day off work for her attorney meeting. I kissed her forehead. One last act, one last pretense, and left for work. Except I didn't go to work. I went to the courthouse where Marcus and Kevin's attorney were waiting. At 8 a.m. we filed. Emergency motions in both cases. Massive evidence packets attached. Request for the judge, Judge Patricia Morrison, who Marcus said was brilliant and no nonsense, reviewed the evidence for 30 minutes. Then called all parties to an immediate hearing. Lauren and Amanda weren't there. They were at their respective attorneys' offices, preparing to file their own papers, believing they were about to execute their plan perfectly. Judge Morrison issued summons. Court officers went to both attorneys' offices and served Lauren, Amanda, and their attorneys with emergency hearing notices. They had to appear immediately. At 10:30 a.m., I watched Lauren walk into the courtroom with her attorney. She saw me sitting with Marcus, saw Kevin with his attorney. Her face went white. She knew. Somehow she knew we'd figured it out. Amanda looked the same, pale, shocked, whispering frantically to her attorney. Judge Morrison called the hearing to order. I've reviewed the evidence submitted by Mr. Matthews and Mr. Patterson. This court is addressing allegations of conspiracy to commit marital fraud. Mrs. Matthews, Mrs. Patterson, you have a right to counsel. Do you wish to proceed with today's hearing or request time to prepare a defense? Lauren's attorney, a woman named Patricia Chen, who apparently specialized in aggressive divorce tactics, stood up. Your Honor, we request time to review these allegations. This is highly unusual. What's unusual is the evidence I've reviewed, Ms. Chen. 6 months of messages explicitly discussing a plan to defraud these men through orchestrated divorces. Recovered documents detailing strategies to maximize asset division through false claims of emotional neglect. Email exchanges discussing a 2-year conspiracy. This court takes marital fraud very seriously. Your Honor, those messages are taken out of context. I've read them, Ms. Chen. They're quite explicit. Phase 1 complete. They're too trusting to see it coming. Document emotional neglect to maximize settlement. Unless you'd like to explain what context makes those statements acceptable, I suggest you focus on your client's defense. Lauren was crying. Not sad crying, angry crying. She kept whispering to her attorney, who kept shaking her head. Judge Morrison continued. Based on the evidence presented, this court is issuing temporary restraining orders, preventing Mrs. Matthews and Mrs. Patterson from accessing joint marital accounts, transferring assets, or taking actions that would harm their spouses financially. The court is also ordering full financial discovery from both women. I want to see every account, every asset, every financial transaction for the last 2 years. We'll reconvene in 30 days to determine if criminal fraud charges should be referred to the district attorney. Your Honor, Amanda's attorney stood.
This is outrageous!
My client has rights. Your client conspired to commit fraud. The evidence is overwhelming. If you'd like to challenge it, submit a motion. But for now, these men's assets are protected from your client's scheme. The hearing ended. Lauren tried to approach me as we left the courtroom. Marcus stepped between us. Don't speak to my client. Daniel, please. I can explain. This isn't what it looks like. Save it for your attorney, Mrs. Matthews. We left. Kevin and I walked out of that courthouse knowing we just stopped a 2-year conspiracy in its tracks. The next 30 days were chaos. Lauren moved in with her parents. Amanda did the same. Their attorneys fought the restraining orders and lost. Tried to claim the burner phone messages were fabricated and lost when our forensic experts testified about their authenticity. Tried to claim Lauren and Amanda's relationship was just friendship, not conspiracy, and lost when the recovered documents proved premeditation. 60 days after that initial hearing, Judge Morrison issued her ruling. Lauren and Amanda had entered their marriages with fraudulent intent. The evidence proved a conspiracy to defraud. The divorces would proceed, but with minimal asset division. Each woman would receive only what she'd directly contributed financially to her respective marriage. No alimony, no division of retirement accounts or investment accounts, just their own earnings and possessions. Lauren got nothing. 7 years of marriage, 2 years of planning, 6 months of attorney consultations, and she walked away with essentially what she'd walked in with. The district attorney reviewed the case for criminal charges, ultimately decided not to prosecute. Difficult to prove criminal conspiracy in a marital fraud case, apparently, even with overwhelming evidence. But Lauren and Amanda both ended up with judgments against them for Kevin's and my legal fees, $45,000 each. 3 years later, I'm 37 and remarried. Her name is Rachel. She's a landscape architect, makes her own money, has her own life. We dated for a year before I told her about Lauren and the conspiracy. Her response, "Thank God you're smart enough not to ignore red flags. We have no joint accounts. We split everything 50-50. We're equals." And I trust her, but not blindly. Never blindly again. Kevin's doing well, too. Divorced from Amanda, dating someone new, thriving in his career. We're still best friends. If anything, going through that experience together made us closer. Lauren, according to mutual acquaintances, is still single, still working in marketing, still living with her parents to save money after paying off legal fees. Her reputation in our social circle is destroyed. Word got out about the conspiracy, and people remember. They remember she spent 2 years plotting to defraud her husband and orchestrated a sophisticated scheme with her college friend. Amanda's in similar circumstances. Divorced, single, financially strained, socially isolated, and that burner phone that started everything? It's in an evidence box with Marcus's firm, a reminder of how close I came to losing everything because I was too trusting. People ask me sometimes if I feel bad about how it ended for Lauren. If I feel guilty that her plan backfired so completely. The answer is no. Zero guilt, zero regret. She married me with the intention to defraud me. Spent 7 years playing a role while calculating exactly how to extract maximum financial value. Made me believe I had a partner when I actually had a con artist. Every "I love you" was manipulation. Every shared moment was her investment in a long con. That's not marriage. That's not love. That's fraud. And fraud has consequences. 5 years after finding that burner phone, I'm thriving. Successful career, happy marriage, life built on actual honesty and partnership. Lauren and Amanda are still dealing with the fallout of a conspiracy that failed because they underestimated the men they'd targeted. They thought Kevin and I were too trusting to see it coming, too focused on work, too oblivious. They were right, until they weren't. Until a phone wedged under a car seat revealed the truth. Until two trusting men became two informed men who fought back with lawyers and evidence and determination. The lesson I learned: trust, but verify. Love, but protect yourself. Give someone your heart, but never your blind faith. Because sometimes the person sleeping next to you is planning your destruction. And the only way to survive that is to see it coming and strike first.